Imagine sending a letter so insulting that the guy who received it decides to erase your entire civilization from the face of the earth. That's not a legend. That actually happened. And the guy you pissed off? Genghis freaking Khan. This is the wild story of the empire that insulted the deadliest warlord in human history and paid the ultimate price. Our journey begins in the early 13th century. The Mongol Empire was on the rise, and Genghis Khan was busy turning the steppe tribes into the most terrifying military force the world had ever seen. He wasn't just a warrior, he was a planner. And his next big move? Trade. See, Genghis didn't just want to conquer for the sake of glory. He was obsessed with stability, with power, and surprise business. He looked west and saw the massive Khwarezmian Empire, stretching from modern-day Iran to Central Asia. It was rich, powerful, and perfectly positioned as a trading partner. So what does Genghis do? He sends a peaceful trade delegation, camels, silks, letters, gifts, all with the message, hey, let's be friends. Let's make money. But instead of shaking hands, the Shah of the Khwarezmian Empire does something incredibly stupid. He arrests the Mongol envoys. He accuses them of spying. And then he executes them. Not content with just killing the messengers, the Shah shaves off their beards, burns their letters, and sends back a message that basically says, thanks, but no thanks. We don't do business with barbarians. Yeah, big mistake, because now you've got a furious Genghis Khan who believed deeply in the sacred rule of diplomacy, ready to unleash hell. And oh, he does. Genghis doesn't just react. He calculates. He gathers intelligence, maps the terrain, analyzes the Khwarezmian army. Then, with around 200,000 warriors, he begins what can only be described as one of the most brutal revenge campaigns in world history. His forces move with speed no one thought was possible. They split into coordinated units, hitting city after city. Bukhara, Samarkand, Nishapur, all of them fall like dominoes. But this isn't just conquest. This is vengeance. When Genghis enters Bukhara, he reportedly addresses the people gathered in their mosque and says, I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you. Damn. One by one, the cities of the Khwarezmian Empire are flattened. Resistance is crushed. Entire populations are wiped out. In some places, skulls are piled into pyramids just to send a message. And the Shah? He runs. He abandons his cities and flees west, always one step ahead of the Mongols, until he dies a miserable death on a deserted island in the Caspian Sea alone, disgraced and hunted. But Genghis isn't done. He sends his generals even further into Georgia, Armenia, deep into Persia, and eventually into Europe. All because one ruler insulted him. Now let's pause and think about this. The Khwarezmian Empire could have been a powerful ally. They could have traded, shared knowledge, and coexisted with the Mongols. But they chose arrogance over diplomacy. And what's more insane? They underestimated Genghis Khan. They thought, he's just a nomad on horseback. What can he possibly do? And Genghis said, let me show you. The Mongol war machine wasn't just brute force, it was a well-oiled system of logistics, communication, and strategy. They had mounted messengers who could ride over 200 miles a day. Their siege engineers were recruited from China and Persia. Their military formations were modular, adaptable, and terrifyingly efficient. By the end of the campaign, the Khwarezmian Empire wasn't just defeated, it ceased to exist. And this wasn't a one-time thing. This moment became a blueprint for Mongol policy. Welcome trade, you prosper. Block trade or disrespect the Khan, you vanish. Now, here's the twist most people don't know. Genghis Khan didn't just conquer the Khwarezmian Empire, he reshaped the region's power dynamics for centuries. He destroyed the Islamic Golden Age's political stronghold. He opened up the Silk Road to unprecedented safety and volume. And he set the stage for the rise of the Timurid and Safavid dynasties. All of that from a single insult. This story is more than just history. It's a lesson in diplomacy, ego, and underestimation. If the Shah had simply played it cool, acknowledged the Khan's offer, maybe stalled, negotiated, they might have avoided destruction. Instead, they threw fuel on a fire that burned across continents. And here's something to really sit with. In the modern world, we often see empires falling from within corruption, complacency, decay. But the Khwarezmian Empire? It was obliterated by one man's pride and another man's fury. This is what made Genghis Khan terrifying. Not just his power, but his memory. He never forgot a slight. And when he retaliated, he didn't just fight, he erased. So next time you hear someone say, "It's just politics," remember, for Genghis Khan, politics was war with paperwork. And in the 13th century, the wrong letter could cost you your entire empire. Thanks for watching Ancient Empire Dust. If that story blew your mind, hit subscribe, because we're just getting started. Next time, we're diving into how Genghis Khan's descendants ruled over the largest contiguous empire in history and how it still affects geopolitics today. See you then.